Hey guys, what's up, football family? Welcome to this episode of the Alternate Football Podcast. If you like this podcast, click like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Um, Throw some questions in the comments down below. I'm also going to be on iTunes and any podcast RSS feed reader that you could find out there if you want to listen to an audio version of this. And with that, this is the Alternate Football Podcast where we talk about all the professional football leagues except the NFL. And let's get into it. So this week is very interesting. This is a great week for football fans because the conference championship games. I'm going to talk a little bit of the NFL now because it's getting so close to the football season coming to an end for the NFL, and I love championship weekend where you get the four best teams in the league come out and show off the best football of the year. The best football you will ever see always happens this weekend, and we saw it. We had two amazing overtime games in the NFL, and that really shows what football can really be and what everyone on any football team strives to be. And it's it was wonderful to watch those two crazy overtime games. I really do think that the Patriots. I hate the overtime system in the NFL, where as long as you score a touchdown, you win the game. I think that's terrible, and I'm glad Alliance has not gone that way. I don't think XFL is going to go that way. And probably the best overtime format is the CFL right now. The CFL has a very good overtime format. So, very excited about the Super Bowl. Go Rams. I'm being a Falcons fan. I really don't want to see the Patriots to win. But I really think unless you're a Patriots fan, most people do not want to see the Patriots win. So it doesn't really matter if you're anything besides Patriots or anything. So now let's get into why we're really here, because this is not a podcast about the NFL. The NFL gets enough love everywhere across the sporting landscape. I don't need to talk about the NFL. You can hear NFL all as much as you want at any time. So with further ado, let's start off with the Alliance of American Football League, because something has happened for the first time ever. There was a trade. So the first trade in all the Alliance, there was a tight end. I just had it here and then it disappeared. It was a tight end and a running back. Where did it go? Sorry about the dead air. I was prepared and then I turned out not to be prepared. How about that? What a surprise. Hey, this is very low budget and it's free, so let's be honest, you can deal with it. What on earth? It's right here. Okay, more dead air. I had the guys' names. Well, let's just say one thing. Only 19 days out to the Alliance Football League kickoff. So it's almost here. Just a little over 2 weeks. Where you got the Pro Bowl, we got the Super Bowl, and then it's kickoff time for the Alliance. Okay. Let me just Google it. I had it on Instagram, but then Instagram refreshed there. So there was a running back from Temple that was traded from the. See, I don't even remember. Uh, this is incredibly annoying. Instagram just failed me. Let me find it here in my feed. Well, anyways, there was a trade running back for tight end. First time ever that's ever happened in the alliance. If I find uh, the two names here in a second, I'll make sure to say it. I don't remember. I remember the running back was from Temple. There were two names that didn't really pop out to me. I believe Richardson was the last name of the tight end that got traded. So not like huge names that pop out to me personally. Okay, here we go. Memphis Express have traded Jahad Thomas to the San Diego Fleet in exchange for tight end Daryl Richardson. Okay, found the two names. So Memphis and San Diego have swapped players. What that means, don't really know. We're still almost 3 weeks. I do think you'll start seeing a bit more trades happening as we lead up towards the beginning of the season. We only have 3 weeks ish to the start of the season, and they're starting to figure out their rosters, figuring out where they really have a lot of depth and where they really need help with. So that's when trades are really going to start happening. I don't think this will be the first one before the start, the last one before the start of the season. There's going to be at least a couple more, especially with everyone in San Antonio right now. That means they can go around and scout each other and see who on what teams they really want. So I really like the idea of having every team in one city doing training camps all at once on a smaller league like this one is. So that's what I want to talk about for Alliance. But the really big thing I wanted to talk about this week is all the expansion teams that are happening in all the arena football leagues around the country. So we got the IFL, which is going to be kicking off the soonest. They kick off end of February this year. So the IFL is going to be talking. They have a new team, San Diego. They also have the Tucson Sugar Skulls, which is a very interesting name, very arena football-esque, I should say. So they've expanded. They now have 10 teams, and they're mostly West Coast and Mid-Eastern. They're the West Coast Mid-Eastern League. The National Arena League, I've already discussed earlier a couple weeks ago about the New York Streets coming in. So right in the heart of New York, playing in Brooklyn. Then they just announced this week that the Orlando Predators are coming back in their league, which is fantastic. I am so excited for Predator football to come back. I love the Atlanta. I was a Georgia Force fan, but something about the Predators just is arena football for someone who's been watching arena football as long as I have. Just the Orlando Predators are almost like the Green Bay Packers of arena football. Like, I mean, that's not a very good comparison. Here's Apollo. He makes a appearance every single week. So the Alliance, so the Orlando Predators is like just one of the stalwarts of indoor arena football. I'm going to call it arena football because that's just what I talk. I know like indoor football, like the IFL has different rules than arena, and the National Arena League has closer rules to the Arena Football League. They're a little bit closer in terms of rules, but I'm really excited. I really hope that the National Arena League brings back the Tampa Bay Storm and then you can have the war on I-4 again. That would be wonderful. It'd be so fun. I I really hope maybe the National Arena League could possibly bring an arena football team in into Georgia. I would love to go see a true arena football team again. And I really do think that the National Arena League has a very close, similar product to what arena football had, like maybe the pre-NBC era or like the post 2008 era of arena football, where it may not have been the best, that it's not the best that arena football has ever been, but it's certainly not the worst. So I really wish that they would bring up, hopefully they can bring back Tampa Bay Storm. I would love it if they brought back the Georgia Force or Nashville Cats or anyone that they could put, the New Orleans Voodoo. That would be fun. The New Orleans Voodoo coming back, I couldn't imagine. So that brings the National Arena League up to 8 teams. So you got 4 kind of southern teams and then 4 kind of northern teams. Like you got Massachusetts, you got Maine, you got New York, and you got Lehigh Valley. So they're kind of split between the north and the south. And then you got IFL, which has the West and Midwest. And then you have the Arena Football League. They just announced that they're going to have the Atlantic City team. They haven't had to come up with a name yet. And then there's talk of a Columbus team, but hasn't been officially announced. So they're kind of in the northeastern, but a much more compact grouping of teams there. You only have 4. You got Albany, Philly, DC, and Baltimore. And DC and Baltimore, they even share a freaking airport. Like, that's practically in the exact same market. Whereas in Philly and Atlantic City are kind of almost the same thing. So Albany is really the only one that's kind of farther out, and then Columbus will be kind of farther out if they ever get that off. They haven't announced the National Arena League or the Arena Football League, haven't even announced a schedule yet. I really do think that this is a correct course correction for these 2 leagues in response to the XFL and the Alliance of American Football League and how they're coming in and where their seasons are starting. So if I really do think that they're doing a later schedule that'll fit in between the Alliance off season when they get done, and then possibly end right before NFL training camps end. I don't know if that means they'll do a smaller schedule, like only 10 games. I do think that would be a good idea. You don't want to compete with the NFL, and you want to give opportunities for guys to be able to make it onto NFL practice squads or anything, or just get some time like that. I don't think arena football players at this point, arena football isn't at a level where you could take an arena football player and put him on a practice squad for an NFL team. It's just too low. Where Alliance and XFL will be giving that mid-range in between, as a similar level as like the CFL. So it's really kind of funny how we're seeing divisions of football start to form, such as you have the NFL up top. So that's Division I, top of the line, number 1 football. Then you have the second tier outdoor leagues. You're going to have the XFL, the Alliance of American Football League, and the CFL. Then a tier below that, you have Arena Football League, National Arena League, and the IFL. And then you can go down from there. So like it's Division 1, 2, and 3. And you have different leagues for each level. That's kind of the way I see it going. I personally really wish that some of these leagues were more national and they played each other. I don't know if the XFL and the Alliance will eventually merge. CFL will never merge with anybody. That is a terrible idea. I don't think they'll ever merge. And besides, they're going to get an expansion hopefully soon. The Atlantic Schooners. I don't even know if that's the name that they're going to go with eventually. But yeah, they're going to get a team out there to make them an even 10-team league. But like the 10-team league, 10 to 12 games is right in the perfect sweet spot for all these levels. The only one that'll be an outlier is the CFL that has 18 game league, 18 game schedule. I do wish that we would be able to get some of the old teams that could play each other, like get a Columbus versus the Columbus versus Arizona Rattlers, or Arizona Rattlers versus Orlando Predators, or anything like that again. But I just don't think that's in the cards anymore. I don't think we're ever going to get back to the point where we will have one national arena football league. We'll just be stuck between arena. We'll just have these certain regional football leagues, and that'll be about it. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that lowers travel costs for arena football teams. It lowers what they have to do to get attendance. It lowers what they the amount of just straight expenditures that they have. The only one that I'm really concerned about is the Arena Football League right now. They are trying to really make it a high. They're still kind of stuck on the NBC era. They're trying to get back to the NBC era, which they're never going to be. And I really do think Ron Jaworski, and I can't remember his name, the Monumental Sports Group CEO, the owner of the Baltimore and Baltimore Brigade and Washington Valor. He really wants to try to move it up and make it a higher level of arena, like the highest level of arena football, like they used to be. And I really think they should cut their losses and just realize what the arena football landscape looks like right now and just work with that. And if for some reason the Alliance of American Football League and the XFL fail, I really hope that doesn't happen. It's just, out of how many times have we tried spring football? Every time it's failed. So, but hopefully this is the time when it knocks it out of the park and finally starts succeeding. But if that does happen, they need to just wait. The Arena Football League, just wait and change their style, their business structure to suit the current landscape of arena football. Will they do that? I don't know. I really do see a lot of ego inside the Arena Football League. Like the owners don't want to give up any power or anything. So I don't know if that'll happen, if they'll be able to put themselves at a lower level, like they've said. So I don't have any questions. I don't have any comments or anything. If you would love to leave a comment, you can direct message me on Instagram, alternatefootball.podcast. If you want to send an email, the email is alternatefootball.podcast@gmail.com. Not sure what I'll talk about next week. I'm sure there'll be some sort of news with the Alliance. Maybe there'll be an arena football announcement for Columbus, or maybe they'll officially announce the Atlantic City teams, or maybe we'll finally get a schedule. But might talk about the Pro Bowl a little bit. Probably not, because who cares about the freaking Pro Bowl? Anyways, thank you for checking it out. Listen to us on iTunes if you missed this live stream. And just have a good night. Thanks.